There are some women that you will never be that guy to. There are some women that you would never be that guy to. We're going to play this clip.
Some women that you will never be that guy to.
That's a fact.
It's a fact.
Like no matter what you do,
What you do.
you will never be that guy, and you'll try to force it, you'll try to make it work, but when you know and you've experienced a woman where you're that guy to her, she really admires you,
You know,
you know what it feels like.
And respect.
And I think a lot of times for guys, especially because we might get caught up in a beauty component or whatever it is, we're trying to prove love that's not being reciprocated, right? And we're putting maximum effort, and then there's a guy on the other side who's putting minimum effort and getting maximum results.
Yes, for sure.
Right? Like, bro, you done took her out, you done flew with the Turks.
Good morning.
Bro.
The good morning.
All this, and there's a guy at 11:30 p.m.
Yeah.
What you doing?
Yep. You up?
Eyes. If men could really just realize that part, it would help them a lot, and they wouldn't gear towards relationships or women who aren't necessarily for them. And that's where I think the bitterness comes from men.
Yeah.
But in reality, it's like, bro, you should have seen the signs early. She wasn't reciprocating. She was calling you out your name.
Look how she talks to her family. You can't feel bad,
Yeah.
right? Because everybody's not for everybody.
That's
true. You have to learn and understand, like, okay, this is not it. Let me move on. Yeah. But some guys, they will stay in that situation trying to make it work. I would rather be the guy hitting up at 11 p.m. versus the guy trying to take on multiple dates, spending money, doing all these things, trying to impress her, and I'm getting nowhere and getting limited results.
There are some women that you will never be that guy to. I'm gonna go ahead and go to Luis and then Bruiser next. What are your thoughts, Luis?
I agree. I've walked in that same effort where you put that kind of consistency and you notice that they're not really reciprocating in that same light. So regardless of how much you spend in time, money, resources, or even effort, you'll never be that guy, because her image and idea of what she sees for you, you just don't fit that criteria or that bill, and it's just better to kind of cut your losses and walk away, as opposed to kind of a lot of us tend to kind of dwell in our ego. You're like, well, I'm gonna do a little bit more, but I'm gonna make her see me in this kind of light, and that could be further from the truth, man. I mean, I think the more effort that you put in after she's already gave you the cold shoulder, the more she's repulsed by you, the less respect she has for you, because you inherently did not pay attention that she had already struck a boundary that she will ever let you in.
All right, let me go to Bruiser then, Shan.
So, you got to be careful, because a lot of these women lack appreciation and respect. Now, you got to vet her to the point whether you've had a conversation with her mother and father to see if she has character and morals. I mean, if her parents weren't available to show her any representation of appreciation and respect, you can. It's likely that you can look for her to express character and morals in this type of fashion. It's just sad that women are doing that to these men, coming off as if they're using a man instead of just having some integrity. And like, hey, look, man, you're not the guy for me. I'm not really interested in you. So that's what I'm gonna teach my daughter. Like, don't waste a man's time. This man's trying to pour into you with his resources, and you already know that you're not gonna take him serious or go to the next level with him. Just move on. It's not worth it.
Ooh, that's gonna be an uphill battle teaching her that, because you're gonna be fighting against the government. You're gonna be fighting against society, social media, all her homegirls, all the aunties, the grandmas, and the mamas, and all.
Government don't have no dick.
You're gonna be fighting, boy. But shout out to the fathers that will teach their daughters the things that Bruiser said he's gonna be teaching his. Listen, this conversation is about simping. That's all it is. There are some women that you will never be that guy to. This is simping 101, from the old simps to the new simps. And as I tell you guys, I should have made jackets, because I was the president of the simp club. You got guys that are current
What are you
simps
talking about?
and simps in the making. This message is for you. You will never be that guy to her. It doesn't matter. Now, what Bruce was saying is you have to learn how to recognize when you're not going to be that guy to her, because they are clever, boy. They are some women and many, and they're taught this, how to be clever, to use you for what you got to get what they want. And that's part of the conversations that we're having today, to let guys realize, to recognize the signs so they don't waste their time. Now, women, they don't need to waste their time as well, because, you know, to be honest with you, they're the ones that's losing ultimately. But for the short-term gains, for the gains in their 20s and they're young, that's where they're coming up. They're just falling apart after they get, you know, later on in life. Yeah, you're not gonna be him to her, because she got the guy that she's gonna call and give everything to, and he put in little to zero effort to get everything that you've been spending your money and your time. I remember, man, there was a girl that would club. This is late 90s, early 2000s. I wanted her so bad. I wanted this chick so bad, dog. And she knew I wanted her bad too. And I had zero. In my mind, I'm thinking I'm doing everything that the songs is teaching me. Remember, we had the conversation about R&B music. So I'm doing everything that Drew Hill is telling me, and that 112 is telling me, and that Boyz II Men is telling me. I'm doing everything that Teddy Riley is telling me. I'm doing everything that Cisco is. I'm doing everything that all these songs is telling me to do. And so she would come home. She would party in Hollywood. Then she come home and she say, Shan, I'm so thirsty. And I get my black ass up and go to 7-Eleven, get her a pint of ice cream and a soda and deliver it to her house. Never touched the pussy.
Beta.
I couldn't, you know, but I didn't know. I had no guidance. And and mind you, this is when I was getting all kinds of pussy, but it wasn't the pussy that I wanted her. I wanted that girl. It wasn't about the other chicks that was on me, and the women that were eating. It wasn't about them. It was about that one that I wanted that didn't want me. And if I would have had any kind of guidance, if I would have had a king talk 25 years ago, when I was 25 years old, I'd be way better off in my dating and mating experience than I am today. But I didn't have that. So I had to skin up my knees, burn myself on the fire to realize it's hot to get to where I am now. And that's why we're trying to teach these young men, bruh, there's a better way.
Bruh.
Tap into King Talk. Listen to Mr. Let Go. Listen to
I don't think the father will have an uphill battle. Honestly, I don't think it would. I don't give a damn about the government, society or not. If you tell your daughters that you're gonna cover them until they get established and married, I don't think they'll risk losing that over making stupid mistakes or making dumb decisions.
Bruce.
That's a fact.
No, that's not a fact.
That is a fact. I got a daughter. I got two daughters. What are you talking about? It's a whole fact.
Man. Y'all, all of us, what Shannon talking about is a lot of our stories, man. A lot of us on the panel, I'm sure, try to save women from themselves. And a lot of us failed at it. Why are we saying that? So even no matter how influential a father is, you hope to God that daughter goes, it listens to your influence and stays with you. Majority of women didn't even listen to their fathers. Let's keep
That's
it real.
not true.
Them girls we were smashing in high
That's
school
not
had daddies
true,
too,
bro.
It ain't
That's
true.
not true.
Ali, you know that most women didn't have their fathers.
They didn't have their fathers.
And so the information that's out there is that you need your father so you make less of a bad decision.
Right.
Okay.
So you're
your father is like my kid is. I'm in my kid's life, and they listen to me. They're not perfect, you know. They still do stupid shit, but they always come back to me and apologize to me, Daddy. I know da 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 da. So at the end of the day, when it comes to a man, that man has to live up to my requirements, not even her requirements, my requirements.
Right. I'm asking you brothers not to personalize it. All three.
I'm not personalizing. I'm giving you data.
Right. What data?
That's even data. Data does.
Data says that if the father is in the house, if the father is in the house, right, that the child, period, boy or girl, are more likely to not make those decisions that you're
Or
talking
not as
about.
many
I
decisions.
agree.
Yeah.
They're way more influential, but does not mean that they're going to listen to that father. That's
Well,
all.
come on,
You
man.
talking about the
No, it ain't
exception?
You
no.
just agreed and then disagreed.
No,
They
I'm not.
are
See,
going to
this
listen
is,
to the
you know
father
what?
enough.
This is why ego messes us up in the community, because in one hand, we think that men are just going to be able to raise kings and queens. But then we don't look at the fact that we're talking about power and how influential it is on our kids. And when our kids walk out the door,
father is the person of
let go.
power.
Please don't do that today. I don't cut you off. Don't do that today. Come on, man. Let me finish. Because you mess up. I don't mess up your. When our kids walk out the door, the power is influencing them extremely. So it don't matter how hard you having an influence over your kids. That outside influence is having a great impact on them, especially the future generations. That don't take away from how great of fathers y'all may be. All I'm saying is that the outside influence is having a drastic influence, not only on women, but on men too. We chasing two separate things. Most men chasing what Shan talking about too. We thought there's all these women, we were simping. We were treating women like queens. Brothers now grow up 30, 40 years old talking about make women submit, but the fathers are teaching their daughters that the man better do everything for you. There's so many contradictions in our philosophy.
Can I ask you this? I'm interrupting in the point that you're making. I'm saying in the point. I want to ask you based on what you said right there.
Ali.
What you're saying right there, Ali.
Everybody on here long-winded. Go ahead.
No. I'm saying that particular point.
I got you.
That where are you pulling your information from? Because when we say data, you say no. So where are you pulling your information from?
From our experiences, whether it's a young
just told us not to use our experience.
My goodness. No, I didn't. I said don't make it just personal. But you didn't let me, hold on. You realize that's three of you didn't cut me off. And I'll take yours as respectful because you said interject. Bruiser, you didn't cut me off.
Okay, pardon me. Part of my interruption.
Let's not get come on, man.
Part of my interruption, Ali. You keep saying
no, I'm not.
Part of my interruption also.
Part of my interruption don't even
for the
work.
exception for Humble Dad, who's pushing marriages, Bruiser and Let Go. Y'all content is talking about women who go against what men are saying.
Because women are children, but when they are up on their dad is their child.
What demographic of women am I talking about?
It goes right in congruent.
Y'all act like children listen all the time, bro. Y'all acting like children always listen. They don't. That's the point that Ali's making. You could be the father. You could be the father and be as bossed up as you want. That don't mean your kids are gonna listen to you, bro. Like I don't know why we're acting like that. Like children don't disobey. Like, bro, we were all in high school sneaking into girls' houses.
And none of us had dads. We didn't have dads.
What are you talking about? I was smashing girls with dads. We were sneaking into their cribs.
Mr. Lego, hold on, wait, fellas.
What are you talking about?
Hold on, fellas. Mr. Lego, did your daughters live with you?
Teenagers rebel.
What'd you say?
Did your daughters live with you?
Yes.
Okay.
He don't. My first girlfriend.
My daughters moved out the house and moved.
I'm gonna interrupt now. My first girlfriend in high school. Her father sat me down and said, "Please respect my daughter, man. Don't touch her. Don't do anything." You know what his daughter kept trying to do with me? Try to get me to touch it. The whole time, and that's almost all my experiences with certain girls was with girls who had fathers at that time. Y'all, we grew up in a generation where fathers were there. Y'all talking about this current generation.
Ali,
can I ask Ali? We're saying the girls don't go too far away, is what we're saying.
You just asked.
Y'all are being egotistical.
Y'all can't keep asking him questions. He's not.
Y'all are saying that if a father is great, a daughter is not going to go away from his teaching. And
I'm not saying that.
Ali is giving me a headache.
That's not what I'm saying, Ali. Okay, maybe they are, but what I'm saying to you is two things. You told us not to use our anecdotal, and I didn't, right? But you use your anecdotal to make your point, right? And I'm saying it is more likely, that's the information that is out on several different studies about having a two-parent household, that is more likely that the girl will make less bad decisions. I'm not saying she's perfect. That's not what I'm saying, right? I'm saying she's more likely to listen to her father than the world that's out there more times than not, based on the information that we have in any study that you go look at.
Because he is a power and the outside world is the influence, but the father is the power. Just like we said, we have the power, the world is the influence, but we have the power.
Perfect.
Until she goes to college.
Can I go without?
Here's the thing.
Y'all
Here's
like
the
to do
thing.
that.
Here's the thing about that power y'all missing. The reason it's not something that I'm hoping my daughter, whether she gonna stray or stay, is that I'm leveraging something that she needs or she wants, and that's my inheritance and that's my cover. If she deviates from my power and my guidance, she is no longer covered for me. I no longer have any responsibility. Therefore, I'm not indebted to her to give her any inheritance.
Facts.
And I'm saying if she do decide to deviate, and she's gone, I got nothing to do with it. Hands is wide.
Facts. You are no longer under my sphere of influence.
She can go be a hoe.
You go be a hoe, go be a crackhead. Nobody cares. Bye. But if you decide to stay here, you're gonna sit your ass down somewhere.
That's it.
People got mad at Dr. Dre when he said that to his daughter.
Because that's the type of men we need.
They didn't know the whole
we don't
story.
have those type of men. We have these men saying, "Oh, but that's my daughter, it's my boy. I can't never." No.
And it goes back to this, Bruiser. We can't even simp for our daughters. Like, we have to like set boundaries with everybody. So when it comes to like dating women or raising your daughter, you can't let your daughter run over you, just like you can't let a woman run over you. You know what I'm saying? So it goes the same way. As a man, women, period, respect men with boundaries and principles, whether it's your daughter or whether it's a woman. So going back to the video, you can run around spending all this money on the woman all you want to. It's going to be another dude who's just going to be hitting her up late at night. And at the end of the day, that's the dude's fault because he is not establishing his financial boundaries. You're supposed to be spending all this damn money on a damn woman.
I'm gonna get content from you and Bruce, and I'm gonna put it together and put it all together and make a video off of it. Y'all not? No, that's not the reality. That's not what's happening in reality. That's why there's a manosphere.
It happens in reality when the child has a father.
That's why there's passport brothers. That's why no, y'all are conflating two things and y'all going like this. Hey, Hamadad, you're married, right? Right, you're married. You're good.
I'm not married. I'm about to be married June 1st, and I have been married.
I'm still respecting the fact that, man, I'm respecting that.
Oh, okay.
Who's is married? Okay. What we're saying though is a lot of men are not forming relationships with women because most women are not listening to men. They're listening to themselves. They're listening to the government. They're listening to the influence of the people in power. Whether she's a thought, whether she's a stripper, whether she's got OnlyFans, Instagram, whether she's a career-driven woman, those women are not listening to the men. They're listening to the power they have. And over the influence that was influencing society, they're in control. Most men are going to simp. Most men are going to, right? Okay. The fact that men get married, whether y'all acknowledge it or not, and what people used to call back then tying down, that marriage and these systems of religion was used to control men's power of what man can really do. And the liberties were, I know it's like that, but the liberties that a man has, the power that a man has to build families, to have multiple women, to have multiple children, even though a lot of people don't like speaking about it because it makes women upset. These forms of systems was made to suppress men. Most of us have become feminist men. We're not masculine men. And I'm not saying y'all brothers, but what I'm saying is that majority of us, even when you're doing what a woman wants, she's still not happy with it.
So this conversation has devolved. Well, this conversation is basically about probabilities versus possibilities. When I'm listening to everybody, because I'm it's almost like I'm a tennis ball going back and forth. Like I hear you, damn, I hear you too, damn, but I hear you, fuck, but I hear you. I'm going back and forth. So possibilities versus probabilities. So we have a situation where we have young women, that we have young men that need to learn that they're never going to be that guy. That's what's scrolling. That's the marquee that's scrolling across the bottom of the screen. They're never going to be that guy. And they need to learn to identify when they're a simp so they can jump out of that shit and snap out of it. Right. Then you have women who didn't have fathers. And then you have young women who have fathers who's going to train their daughters to not take advantage of men. And that's where this conversation started when Bruiser said, listen, my daughter, I'm teaching her how the ways that she needs to be so she could be successful in life and in love. Well, what's the possibility versus the probability that his daughter's going to listen to him as long as he's in her life as an influencer, right? And then we have Ali saying, you got fathers who really tried that, and their daughters was hoes. We got fathers who thought their daughters went the way that he thought his daughter was, but secretly she was smashing everybody under the bleachers in high school and shit.